gentlemen, and welcome to the Discriminating Gamer. Say, where does James Bond sleep? Around! Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at legendary James Bond 007, The Spy Who Loved Me from Upper Deck.
Hello everybody, we'll get back to the review in just a second. I just want to take a moment to ask you to go ahead and check out and subscribe to my other channel, that is Cody Carlson PhD, where we talk about military history and books on history and fun things like that. Please check that out, please subscribe, and now, back to the review.
And legendary James Bond 007, The Spy Who Loved Me from Upper Deck. Players take on the roles of James Bond, various incarnations, of course, of James Bond, as they're attempting to play through this scheme that it revolves around the Spy Who Loved Me film. Now, of course, you have some new heroes in this deck. You have the allies, and of course the allies are Q and M and Gogol and what have you. But then you also have equipment, you have vehicles, you have Anya Amasova, and of course you have James Bond himself. The game comes with a new villain group, the Spy Who Loved Me villain group, including that big baddie Jaws, and you also have the Lapar Soldiers Henchmen. Now this game has some new and important keywords and some new cards. For instance, you have perils. Now these perils can be triggered. You essentially withdraw a peril from the peril deck and you place it in front of you. You've got to the end of your turn to resolve it, or some negative things will happen to you. Now these perils can ask for different things. They may say you have to spend so many recruit or so many attack this turn, you must do this or that this turn. It'll ask for certain things. If you can fulfill that condition, then nothing bad happens, something good might. But if it doesn't, like I say, you're screwed. Now we've got this new concept here called submerged. Now some of the villains that come out can submerge, and your mastermind can submerge as well. What submerge means is if it comes out like the Lapar soldiers, they immediately submerge. You have to pay a certain amount of recruit to get them to come back so they're normal. You cannot fight them unless they are right side up. But if they're submerged, they're upside down, you got to pay the cost in recruit to get them to come back to normal. If they do that, then you can fight them normally. There's also another really interesting keyword here, and that is nobody does it better. Nobody does it better essentially replaces class. It replaces class with a wild. Essentially, if any card has nobody does it better, it means you can essentially name whatever class you want for that card. So in effect, you can trigger cards you ordinarily wouldn't be able to trigger. What's cool is you can also, you have more than one class that you can do. So you could actually have multiple classes triggering off of one card, depending on how you use it. Now, as I mentioned, Jaws is one of the villains that will come out periodically in this game. Now, Jaws has some interesting things. First of all, he's got bite. Now, if his bite triggers, essentially who is ever beneath him in the HQ, he is knocked out of the game. And at the end of every turn, if he's not resolved, he knocks someone out. Now, you cannot replace anyone in that space as long as Jaws is on assignment. You have to take out Jaws before you can start putting people back, which means he can potentially knock out all of your people in your HQ for several turns. Now, Jaws is also indestructible. You never defeat Jaws, you only make him escape. So when you defeat him, he actually does not go to your victory pile, rather he goes to the escape, and you still have to trigger regular escape effects. Now, your mastermind, your big baddie here is Karl Stromberg. Now, Karl Stromberg, he always leads the Spy That Loves Me villain groups. You set him up with 5 Master Strikes, you put 2 in the B deck and 3 in the C deck. Now, you submerge Stromberg, essentially, when he comes out. He is upside down. Now, during a Master Strike, the active player draws a peril. You can fight him, but after you fight him, he submerges once again. Now, if he escapes, he submerges, and if he already was submerged, then that player would gain a wound. Now, you've actually got 2 new schemes in this deck. You've got Incite a Nuclear War and Create a New World Beneath the Sea. Let's take a look. In Incite Nuclear War, you always use the Incite Nuclear War mission group. You set up with 5 scheme twists. Now, for a twist, you put the twist in the rightmost open air space as a missile. This is the space directly above the center 3 open spaces on the board, just above the on assignment space. Now, if none are open, it explodes and evil wins. Special rules. While the on assignment space beneath the missile is open, you may pay 4 recruit to reprogram the missile so it crashes safely into the ocean. You KO it. Now, when the inevitable mission enters on assignment, if there are any missiles in the air, they explode and evil wins. Evil wins when danger reaches level 7. In Create a New World Beneath the Sea scheme, you always use the Laparis Soldiers Henchman group. The setup is 4 scheme twists. You put 1 in A, 1 in B, and 2 in C. For a twist, you put the twist underneath one of the 4 corners of the playmat. It is now a Pillar of Atlantis. Special rules. For each pillar, it costs +1 recruit, +1 attack to surface a submerged card. Once during each player's turn, if they have all 5 classes among their heroes in play, they may kill a pillar. Evil wins if danger reaches level 7. So that's essentially what you are getting with this game. There are also some clarifications on cards on the rule sets, but that's basically what you're getting with this game. Now, I've got something I've got to tell you, and I'm probably going to take a lot of crap for this. In fact, I know I'm going to take a lot of crap for it because I'm not proud of it. The Spy Who Loved Me is my favorite James Bond movie. It is. It's my favorite film. And I'll tell you why it's my favorite film. Because when I was growing up, I remember this is the first James Bond film that I saw that just like put my jaw on the ground. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. This, and maybe to a lesser extent, For Your Eyes Only, which is a more grounded and more serious kind of a Bond film. But I really love those. I mean, those films I would watch growing up quite a bit. Now, don't misunderstand me. Sean Connery's the best James Bond. There's no debate there. Sean Connery's the best James Bond. But I really liked Roger Moore too. I thought he did a good job, and I really, really liked The Spy Who Loved Me. It was just a fun adventure. I liked the underwater stuff when I was a kid. I really got a kick out of it. And so I was excited to see that this was going to be the new legendary set coming out for this and play through this game. And by and large, it works awesome. I really like the whole nuclear missile concept, where you got those open spaces above the on assignment where nuclear missiles go. And if the inevitable card comes out and there's one there, it explodes, you're gone. But you're trying to stop the nuclear missiles. And I really, really enjoy that aspect of the game quite a bit. And you're trying to make sure those spaces are clear beneath them so that you can reprogram them and get them down. It's very difficult, but it's also a lot of fun. Really like that aspect there of the game as well. Generally, I like the villains. I like Jaws. I think he's awesome. How he can just play havoc with the HQ throughout the game. He's a lot of fun, and then how you can't defeat him. He just goes to the escape pile. And also, too, I gotta say, I really, really, really like the Nobody Does It Better. That's so cool, and I'm surprised. I don't think there's anything like it in the Marvel game, where essentially you've got a wild. Your class is wild. And I got to tell you, that is so cool because you're playing a game like, I want that ability to trigger, but it can't. Oh, wait, yes, it can, because you've got that ability. And like Bond's most powerful card has 3 Nobody Does It Better, so you could actually do 3 different classes. So there's kind of ways to build different classes and achieve some of those goals with that Nobody Does It Better card. It's another great mechanic that I like a lot. So this is a case where there's not a whole lot of content in this particular thing. I mean, you do get the perils, which are fun. I do like those. Those new challenges are tough sometimes, but I really like them because again, it's just a new dimension. I didn't mention the wound cards. There's some new wound cards special wound cards you mix in with the wounds, where you draw those. You can then make you draw perils. So I really like all of that. I think it's all good stuff. It all works together. It all comes together very well. And that, with the fact that this is my favorite Bond film, I think just is awesome. So this is another great expansion for Legendary James Bond, which is just a tremendous game, and I hope we see more and more films and more expansions because it's great. Recommendation for the discriminating gamer for James Bond, The Spy Who Loved Me is buy it. Thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We'd ask you to please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. We'd ask you to check out my other channel, that is Cody Carlson, PhD, where we talk about books on history and military history, fun things like that. Please check it out, please subscribe, and please give a thumb to this video on Board Game Geek. That helps us out a lot. You know, ladies and gentlemen, if James Bond lives such a high-risk lifestyle, why don't they call him James Stock?
Somebody help me on my feet again, and I don't know where I'm going. I know. I kill more people than anybody else.